Okay, Karen Reed, the civil trial. Can they use the criminal trial as evidence in the civil trial? Um, I would think the answer is yes. And here's where I think it's going to fall apart. Um, the Lexus did not cause the arm. Dr. Rentschler proved the Lexus did not cause the arm. The the defense in the first trial. Let me go with the Commonwealth first. In the first trial, Trooper Paul went on the stand, and I gotta blame Adam Lally and the Commonwealth for just not doing their homework. They Trooper Paul made no sense. Okay, the key cycles and all that, yes, but how the arm got injured, the pirouette in the air. Alan Jackson had a field day with Trooper Paul, and Trooper Paul was nervous. He is not a seasoned testifier. He 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 looked nervous and stuttered, and that explanation of how the Commonwealth or Trooper Paul, the accident reconstructionist, he's not. The fact that the Commonwealth let him get on the stand and give that story of how John's right arm hit the tail light and caused those parallel scratches. And some of the scratches were so parallel they were parallel next to each other. They're all going in pretty much the same direction. Almost like John's laying on his back and someone is scratching up and down his arm when he's on his back, not when he's standing behind a Lexus with his arm in motion. You should have scratches in all different directions. So Trooper Paul basically killed the entire case, because here's why. In the second trial, they have to go with it. They can't go with the Jimmy McNutty's theory of Karen using a window ice scraper. They can't do that, because then the defense will go, well, wait a minute. In trial number one, Trooper Paul said it was the Lexus. Now you're switching it to Karen using a window ice scraper. So they were locked in from trial one with this Lexus. Now, I want everybody who believes Karen killed John with her car. You can't make the same mistake. You can't go your entire podcast career with your original testimony, which is you think the Lexus caused the arm. Whereas, look at the defense. The defense is claiming two unique actions. They're claiming Colin Albert punched John O'Keefe right here in his eye. So he got the bruise there. And then they say Chloe the dog came in and started biting him on his right arm. And then they say Brian Higgins or Brian Albert pushed John O'Keefe back because he's fighting Chloe, and bam, he cracked his head on the basement floor. So that's basically three separate acts. Colin Albert caused this, Chloe caused this, and Brian Albert caused the back of the head. Three separate acts. Whereas the Commonwealth forced Trooper Paul to say, okay, all four injuries, the back of the hand, the scratches on the arm, the eyebrow, and the back of the head, all have to come from the Lexus. We can't have two separate acts, and that's where the Commonwealth failed. They tried to fit a round peg in a square hole by fitting everything with that Lexus. And I claim the arm, there was no blood on the sleeve. John was dead. John was dead when those arm marks were made. I don't care what Cordy Bello says. She says the arm marks were done before a body died. Well, John was on ice. His body was preserved. His body was preserved in cold weather. Those arm marks did not bleed. And then the cold weather. I'm hearing people like on Yellow Cottage say, well, the cold weather prevented the arm from bleeding. Well, his eye was bleeding like shit. Why did his eyebrow bleed? Why was blood on his shirt? Shouldn't the cold weather prevent the eye and the back of the head from bleeding on his shirt? On the front of the shirt, not the back of the front of the shirt. His eyebrow was bleeding. Or maybe it was the back of his shirt. I forget. But still, if the cold weather is going to stop the arm from bleeding, it's going to stop the other bleeding too, right? You can't have both. So, these podcasters who they won't change their mind. They want to buy into Trooper Paul because they think they have to. They think if more reasoning and more logic and more thinking comes in, they can't change their mind because the jury of YouTube will say Yellow Cottage has no credibility. Kevin changed his mind. Kevin was telling us for a whole year in trial 1 that the Lexus caused the arm. And then in trial 2, Rentschler just killed it. If you've taken 2 semesters of physics in college, you know momentum, you know velocity, acceleration, you know Rentschler's right. There's no way, there was not enough time for that Lexus to cause those arm marks. And in parallel ways, the body is going to move. The body's in motion. John was not moving when those arm marks were made. He was dead. So, it's sad that my YouTubers who believe Karen killed John are not allowed to open their minds and say, "Oh, okay, we think it's different. We think Trooper Paul was wrong. we think Trooper Paul was wrong, and the Commonwealth couldn't change the story in the second trial because what are they going to do? They're going to bring Trooper Paul onto the stand, and he's going to say, "What did you say in trial number 1?" Well, that's reasonable doubt. That's reasonable doubt. If Trooper Paul was wrong in trial 1, the trial 2 jury is going to go, "Oh, that's reasonable doubt." How did the Commonwealth even bring this to trial if they can't figure out how those arm marks were made? So sad, but anyway, Chloe didn't do it. Colin Albert didn't do it. Window eye scraper. Got to open your minds. Open your minds. Don't get locked into Trooper Paul. Over and out.